Should be all set.
All right, thank you very much. The meeting will now come to order. Welcome to the October 25th, 2021 regular meeting of the West Hartford Library Board. My name is Jill Spear and I'm chair of the West Hartford Library Board. This meeting is being conducted in a virtual format in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act as amended by Public Act number 21-2, which authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television at www.whctv.org and www.youtube.com/WHCTV5. The meeting is also being recorded for on-demand viewing and will be available on the town's website for at least 45 days. Since we are conducting this meeting in a virtual format, there's some special rules and procedures that we need to cover before we begin. First, I'll ask all participants to mute their phone, including myself, when you're not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I'll call on you in the order I see hands raised. If you are participating by audio only, or I do not call on you and the debate is ending, then unmute your phone and let me know so that I can recognize you. Second, all speakers must make a good faith effort to state the person's name and title at the outset of each occasion that such person participates in the meeting. Third, all votes must be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. Fourth, a reminder, that if any participant has a problem with connectivity, you should immediately call Janet Valensis, whose phone number you were provided with earlier. Janet will let me know and we'll recess the meeting while the problem is resolved. If it cannot be resolved quickly, we will ask you to call into the meeting using a phone and participate via audio only. Now I will proceed to call the roll. Kim Cohen. Let the record show Kim is absent. Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member, present.
Eileen Daly.
Eileen Daly, Library Board Member, present.
And Jill Spear, Library Board Chair, present. Note that also present is Acting Director Carol Waxman and Office Operations Specialist Janet Valensis. We have no excuse me.
I'm also here. Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member.
Thank you, Natalia. I read right by your name.
No worries. Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member, present.
Thank you very much, Natalia. The first agenda item is public comment, and we have none was received. The second agenda item is approval of the consent agenda items 4 and 8AI, 88II. Do I have a motion? Gail, the chair recognizes Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member, moves to approve the consent agenda items as mentioned.
Do I have a second? The chair recognizes Eileen Daly.
Eileen Daly, Library Board Member, I second.
A motion is made and seconded to approve the consent agenda, and I now will call the roll. Vote on the motion. Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member, approved.
Eileen Daly. I'm sorry, did Eileen? I couldn't hear your voice. Eileen.
No, I'm sorry. Eileen Daly, Library Board Member, approved.
Thank you.
Yes.
Natalia Menjivar.
Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member, approve.
Thank you. Jill Spear, Library Board Member, approved. The motion is passed. The next agenda item is the chair's report. We have 2 items this evening: the West Hartford Board Training for Public Meeting Refresh. Several of our members were able to attend the virtual streamed offerings of this, and we plan, other board members are planning to take the training provided by the Corporation Counsel's Office and Town Clerk's Office once the recording of those sessions is made available. So we want to thank both Corporation Counsel and the Clerk's Office, Town Clerk's Office, for really quite an informative session, and we look forward, the other members are looking forward to taking the course via the recording. The next agenda item is the library director search. The search committee and the search process is moving along, and we hope to have note progress at our next meeting. Our next agenda item is old business. We have 2 items under old business, and the first is facilities enhancements, named specifically the smart lockers and study meeting pods. The chair recognizes Acting Director Carol Waxman to update us on these new exciting initiatives.
Carol Waxman, Interim Library Director. We are so excited. Today has been a very important day, and this week will be a very important week. So the smart lockers, purchased with generous funding from the Library Foundation, smart lockers will replace and enhance curbside pickup at the Bishop's Corner Library, allowing library patrons the flexibility of picking up their holds at their convenience. The lockers are for patrons who would prefer to pick up holds outside of normal business hours, who are uncomfortable coming into the building, or need the flexibility of an easy, quick pickup with parking, with small children, and so forth. We are just about ready to open the smart lockers and have people start to use them. So patrons can choose West Hartford PL-BC Locker as their pickup location when they place items on hold from home. They can also call over the phone and tell the staff that they want to pick up in the locker. When the hold is ready for pickup, patrons will receive a notice from the library and an additional notice from Package Concierge that has a scannable barcode to be used to open the locker. The items will remain in the locker for 3 days and will already be checked out to the patron's account. If the patron does not pick up their hold within the 3 days of time, the items will be removed from the locker and sent on to the next person on the waiting list to use the locker. Publicity for the new smart lockers will be published in the library newsletter this week and later in WeHa News and the library Facebook page. And we've ordered a plaque to thank the Library Foundation for funding this project. It's on order and will be attached to the smart locker unit upon completion. And that concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the board? Carol, this is Library Chair, Board Chair Jill Spear. I have a question. When they receive the notifications, are the notifications coming in email or text or both with the GUID?
I know that they're in email. I'm not sure that they're in text, Jill, but I will find that answer out and get it to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Great. It would be, I assume it's going to be in the press releases and the newsletter anyway, but that would be nice to know.
Sure.
Jill, I think it depends on what the patron chooses. However they receive their notifications now will be how they receive those notifications.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Thank you, Janet. Library Board Chair Jill Spear. It's an interesting thing that people might want to change the option of how they get notices based on this whole new way of collecting materials. They might find one more convenient than the other. So that's great. Thank you. Our next agenda item is an update on the new Community Cultural Center and Branch Library. The chair recognizes Acting Director Carol Waxman to update us on what's going on there.
Thank you, Carol Waxman, Interim Library Director. So the purchase of the property at 100 Mayflower Street by the town of West Hartford is now complete and all utilities transferred. The site is now being used by the food share van, which formerly used the Fax and Branch parking lot until the lot was needed for Fax and open hours. This exciting opportunity for the town to build a new multi-use municipal community center will include the Fax and Branch Library. A request for proposal is being drafted to solicit architectural firms to examine options for use of the building, whether it's renovated or raised. The resulting feasibility study would assess the existing facility for its constructional options and identify probable costs for various options. The study would provide the West Hartford community with an understanding of the challenges and opportunities of the building and its site. It is the recommendation of the advisory committee for the town council to create a committee comprised of interested West Hartford community members to work with architects and town staff to evaluate all of the issues. The committee will be a 9-member committee and include members of the following groups: the West Hartford Library Board, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, the Pedestrian and Bicycle Safety Commission, the Senior Citizens Advisory Board, the Clean Energy Commission, the Elmwood Business Association, a member of the Mayor's Youth Council, and 2 residents at large. It has not been determined yet how the residents will be chosen. The committee will meet monthly or on an as-needed basis with the chosen architecture firm and appropriate town staff through the feasibility and design stages of the project. The committee will assist in facilitating community outreach and participation. An advisory committee will allow everybody to work together to ensure that the design and plan functions of the new facility align with the strategic vision of the town and lead to solutions that address specific needs of the community. The creation of a thoughtful and supportive building committee will assist the architectural firm and be valuable. And that concludes my report. That's all the information I have about the community center as of now. More to come.
Thank you, Carol. Any questions from board members? Chair recognizes Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member. Carol, when are they planning to convene this advisory committee? And who's chairing it, or has that been determined?
I don't have any specific dates as yet, Gail. So right now, Helen Rubino Turco, Director of Leisure and Social Services, and I have taken a role in getting this moving under Matt Hart's leadership. We meet as needed, at least monthly. So I don't have any further information as to the timeline right now, but I will be happy to update you as I get that information.
Thank you, Carol. Second question, Gail. Chair recognizes Gail
Yes,
Crockett.
sorry, Gail Crockett, Library Board Member. Just so the reason I was asking is because I attend the meetings for the Senior Advisory Commission, and several individuals on there were asking this very question and wanting to hear more from Matt about specifics. So since you're meeting with him regularly, he might be aware of that already, but I'm sure you're not the only group in town interested to know, more recent developments and activity with this project.
I understand. As soon as additional information is available, I will absolutely get that to you. Unfortunately, that is all that I have for this evening, though.
No, I didn't mean for me. I meant for your meeting with him.
Okay, I understand. Thank you, Gail.
You're welcome.
This is Jill Spear, Library Board Chair. On a related note, I sent off a note to Matt's office inviting him to an upcoming meeting to update the library board directly himself. Basically said we're definitely meeting, the 4th Monday of November. We have an optional December meeting, or, if neither of those work, certainly January would be, may know more after the holidays. So hopefully we'll hear back from him about attending and giving us a briefing himself. But we appreciate Carol keeping us in the loop. Any other Chair recognizes Gail Crockett.
Sorry, one more question for you, Carol. So do you know, or could you determine when you meet with Helen and Matt, are they planning to do like a public, I don't want to call it a public hearing, but like I'm thinking of us and other groups, wouldn't it make sense to have some sort of, what do they call those things? Town public
Community
meeting?
conversation.
Yes, yes. I'm just wondering if that might be a way of getting out.
Library Director, Library Board Chair Jill Spear. My understanding, Carol, please correct me if I'm wrong, but as I recalled in our previous expansion, and also a lot of those architectural firms that have done total ground up or renovations, that the firms that, my understanding, Gail, and I could be wrong, is how this one is going to approach it, since there's just an RFP, that's part of what the architectural firm also can bring to the is soliciting requirements by having, in conjunction with the town, having town conversations. So I think it's basically, we need to see the work plan and have some updates from Matt, whether that's part of once they engage an architectural firm, or if that, where that happens is part of that conversation with the firm directly or independently. If I am understanding your question, Gail.
Yeah, you are understanding it, and I'm thinking that why not before and with the firm? I'm just sensing, I actually heard a couple of older people say, quote, nobody even knows what's going on, or, you know what I'm saying? So I don't, I mean, it's Matt call obviously, but it was just a thought in terms of efficiency. And, here are the top 20 questions people want to know.
Yeah.
Even if they put it in WeHop, I did and had it so people could at least read about it. Just a thought.
I guess that's some feedback, Carol, perhaps you and Helen can mull over and take to Matt, that it's been a while since there's been any press on it, or, public announcements or whatever.
Right.
Even though from the town's point of view, maybe there isn't, the RFPs going on, but just keeping it in the news. I'm sure they have a communication, if they don't have a communication plan, to Gail's point. I know Gail and I've talked about that there are some members of the community who said, hey, I don't even know what's going on. There was all this noise about it, and what's going on with the library. So just some feedback. So thank you for bringing that up, Gail. Always good to get the community excited about something and then need to keep them in the loop. All right, that concludes our old business. We have several items of new business tonight, and they're all going to sound a little redundant, but they're all different aspects. So we have 3 calendar items that we need to review and approve for the coming year. The first is the library operating schedule revision for holidays and Sundays calendar for 2022. So every year the library puts out the library's operating schedule, which says which of the holidays and which of the Sundays we're going to be open, and it has to be filed with the town clerk's office, I believe. And so tonight, you've all seen the listing that Janet provided us. So I need a motion to approve the draft schedule for 2022. Do we have a motion? Chair recognizes Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, Library Board Member, move to approve the draft of the 2022 holiday schedule for the library.
And do we have a second? Chair recognizes Natalie Mentor.
Natalia Mentor, Library Board Member, I second.
Thank you. Motion is made to approve the draft calendar for holiday and Sunday calendar for 2022, and seconded. I'm going to now call the roll. Gail Crockett.
Approve.
Eileen Daly. Eileen, I think you're on mute.
Eileen Daly, Library Board Member, approved.
Thank you. Natalia Menjivar.
Natalia Mentor, Library Board Member, approve.
And Jill Spear, Library Board Chair, approved. Motion is made and carried. Thank you. Okay. Now we need to roll back and address 2021. The proposal is to update our operating hours for Thanksgiving Eve, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve. And this is similar to we've done, can't remember how many years it's been, but every year we look at the patron flow and staffing, ability to staff hours, and have closed early on those evenings and aligned with the town early closing for those days. So do I have a motion to enable the schedule to be revised so we can do early, and it's early closing of the branches, excuse me, correct, Carol? Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's early closing of all 3 branches.
Yes, Jill.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting confused with the other thing. Do I have a motion? The chair recognizes Eileen Daly.
Oh, I think I'm still on. Okay, good. I make a motion to approve the revised hours for Thanksgiving Eve, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve of 2021.
Thank you. And do we have a second? Chair recognizes Natalie Menjivar.
Natalia Menjivar, I second the motion to adjust the hours.
Thank you. A motion is made and seconded. And I'll now call the roll. Gail Crockett,
Approve.
let the meeting show that Gail Crockett said approved. It was kind of faint, Gail. But we
Oh,
heard
I'm
you.
sorry. I approve.
Thank you. Eileen Daly
Eileen Daly, Library Board Member, approved.
and Natalie Menjivar.
Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member, approve.
Thank you. Jill Spear, Library Board Chair, approved. Okay, the motion is made and carried to have early closing on Thanksgiving Eve, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve. The next agenda item is the calendar for 2022 for the Library Board. Okay, and this calendar shows that we have the meeting the 4th Monday of the month, except when that coincides with a holiday, and the optional meetings in the summer and in December. So do we have a motion? You all were provided copies earlier. Is there a motion to approve our meeting calendar for the board? Chair recognizes Natalia Menjivar.
Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member, motion to accept the 2022 calendar for Library Board meetings.
Thank you. And do we have a second? Chair recognizes Eileen Daly.
Eileen Daly, Library Board Member, I second the motion.
Thank you. Motion is made and seconded to approve the Library Board meeting calendar, which is the calendar that gets sent to the town clerk's office, not the library operating schedule. Excuse me. Any calendars tonight? And I will now call the roll. Eileen Daly. Eileen, can you hear us? We'll get back to her. Gail Crockett, do you approve the
Gail
motion?
Crockett, Library Board Member.
And Natalia Menjivar.
I approve.
Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member, approve.
Jill Spear, Library Board Member, approve. Eileen Daly, can you hear us? Okay, Eileen, can you hear us? One moment. Just sent Eileen a little chat note. I don't think her session looks like it's clocking. Well, we have, I'd like to record her vote. The motion is carried by 3. Let's give it just one more second, see if she can connect back in. Looks like her session is frozen. Well, the motion's carried, so just move on and move on to our next agenda item. The next agenda item is the current monthly briefing by our Acting Library Director, Carol Waxman. Chair recognizes Carol Waxman.
Carol Waxman, Interim Library Director. So in the continued reopening of our libraries, the Noah Webster Library continues to open until 5 o'clock on Saturdays. 2 o'clock at the branches on Saturdays, evening hours at all libraries. Even though the town has issued a repeal of the universal indoor mask mandate for the community as of October 22nd, we are still requiring all library visitors to wear masks. This is due to the fact that our buildings, all of them, have a mix of children and adults in all of the spaces within the libraries, and we need to be respectful and compliant with the school mandates of mask wearing. Hopefully, there'll be a time in the near future when more children are vaccinated and the schools will not require mask mandating, and that is when we will revise our policy accordingly. I'd like to talk a little bit about the tech lab tonight. Work on the new tech lab project on the main floor of the Noah Webster Library continues to progress. Interior painting has been completed. A portable soundproof recording booth has been received. And while we expect this booth will primarily be set up in the tech lab, it can be packed up and transported to another location if desired. Most of the equipment has been ordered and is now on site. We're awaiting some new furniture, which includes a media table for small group collaboration, as well as several tables with locking casters that can be moved and reconfigured to accommodate a variety of activities. We hope to open the lab by the end of November. The lab will be open a minimum of 15 hours per week and staffed by our computer technicians who have a particular interest in audiovisual technologies. We're working on procedures for how we register people to use the tech lab. And Jennifer Evans, the executive director of WHCI, our local access station, has proclaimed interest in collaborative programming with us or having her staff help patrons in our tech lab. Some members of the new Mayor's Youth Council have all expressed interest in working in the lab and helping others. As you know, the Tech Lab was funded by a Kilfoyle grant from the West Hartford Public Library Foundation. The study pod is fully constructed and in use as soon as the first person registers to use it. The pod offers a quiet place for individuals or small groups to study, meet, work together with limited distraction. The pod is located in the gallery on the main level of the library and offers 1 table, 4 chairs, and 3 power outlets. To ensure that the study pod remains accessible and functional, we've set forth some rules and procedures. Patrons must make a reservation to use the study pod, booking online or visiting or calling the reference desk. Advance or walk-in reservations are acceptable and cannot be made more than 14 days in advance. It is available in 15-minute intervals, but not reserved for more than 2 hours. And patrons must be at least 14 years of age to reserve the study pod. Individuals under the age of 12 must be accompanied by a person at least 18 years of age. Publicity about the pod is now available on our website and will be posted to the library Facebook page, to WeHa News, the library newsletter, and other sources. We anticipate much excitement about booking space in the pod because for the few weeks that it's been up, standing large and grand, people are flocking to examine it and ask questions about it. And we extend our appreciation to the American Rescue Plan Act for Libraries and the Library Foundation. The West Hartford Library is now offering SCORE services for our patrons. SCORE is a nonprofit organization dedicated to mentoring small businesses. 4 appointments were booked last week. Those interested in starting a new business or growing an existing business can book an appointment through the library to meet with a mentor on the first and third Thursday of the month from 10 to 1, either virtually or in person at the Noah Webster Library. Additional appointment times are available upon request for those unable to meet during those times, in the evenings, even on weekends, whenever people need. At the meetings, the SCORE mentors, all experts in entrepreneurship and related fields, will provide advice and support to small business clients. We have started a new professional development committee at the library to explore which professional development opportunities staff would like to experience. The first meeting will be held soon. A staff survey indicated that most staff who responded were interested in customer service and security and safety issues. The Mayor's Youth Council has been meeting. We had our first meeting last month, second meeting this month. They've elected officers. They are deciding which service projects they will be doing this year. We're very excited about all of this. More information to follow. The Town of West Hartford absentee ballot applications are available. Bishop's Corner has distributed 55, the Noah Webster Library 14, and 27 at Faxon. The ballots must be returned to the election drop boxes at Town Hall or at the main entrance to the Faxon Branch Library. Ballots will go out starting October 1st to those who have requested an absentee ballot for this election year. If the town does not receive a completed ballot application by October 25th, the ballot will not count for this election. Homebound services are fully back in place as pre-COVID. We are servicing 16 homebound patrons. 2 volunteers answer the messages left by patrons requesting particular titles or choose books for them, and a volunteer driver makes deliveries on Wednesdays. The Bear Fair continues to be very popular outside of our building and attracts many visitors of all ages. The bears will remain on display until October 29th, at which time they will be relocated to their forever homes. Proceeds from the auction of the bears will be sent to the recipients. The bear in the front of the library near the sidewalk, painted by artist Corey Payne, will have its donations directed to the Faxon Branch Library to be used at the library's discretion. On October 2nd, West Hartford Library staff participated in the Park Road Parade on a beautiful morning with many people on the sidelines. Although our Celebrate All of Us initiative has been put on hold until it is safe to hold large-scale events inside the building, a small group of staff promoted these events by riding on a truck that showcased 2 giant blow-up globes and flags from other countries. The photography competition that started on August 14th and lasted 1 month until September 14th has ended. The winners will be announced on November 1st. There will be 3 winners in each category. The photos will be displayed virtually between November 14th and January 31st in the library. And most exciting of all is that we are partnering with the West Hartford Parking Authority. They are going to be blowing up many of the submissions and posting these to the light pole banners on South Main Street. So everybody will see the submissions to the photography contest. The 5th year of the Kindness Project has begun, and collections are coming in at great volume. The collection benefits the Town of West Hartford Food Pantry, as well as the Universalist Church backpack program for students. Personal hygiene items, paper goods, diapers, laundry detergent, hand-knit wool scarves crafted by a senior citizen who just loves to knit are collected from our patrons and placed in large bins both inside and outside the library buildings. These are sorted, packed into cartons, and delivered to their destinations to be placed on the shelves of the pantries for residents to self-select or placed in backpacks picked up by families at the Faxon and Bishop's Corner branches. Families using the services of the food pantry, as well as those receiving backpacks, are extremely appreciative. The Kindness Project is a national model for the Collaborative Summer Library Programs Initiative, in which libraries promote projects to help families with basic needs. The notary service that is now in place at the Noah Webster Library is being well used and will soon be offered at the Faxon Branch Library. The service is free of charge and available Monday and through Friday by appointment. Adult programs continue to be virtual and are definitely well attended, with upwards of 100 people in many of the programs. Teen programs remain virtual. Children's programs are being held mostly outdoors, on the front lawn, or in the patio area behind the children's department. When the weather is inclement, we move the program inside. And these programs are limited to 10 children, so we keep the numbers small. Of course, we'll be moving inside for the winter months, still keeping the registration cap low. We're also offering a Music Together instructional program for children, in which they will share in songs, rhymes, movement, and instrument play, a program funded by the Goldfarb Foundation. We have prepared 200 Halloween bags to distribute in all 3 buildings that include a craft project, snack, bookmark, stickers, and other goodies. Families are very excited to take part in this, as well as Halloween long games this Wednesday. Notable programs for adults included the return of the sea otter, an author talk about exploring Connecticut, and a discussion about Social Security. Teen programs included a virtual escape room, a cross-stitch make and take craft, and Halloween trivia. The broken line near the electrical service at the Faxon Branch Library has been repaired and jetted cleaned. Hopefully, this will prevent future flooding in that area, especially tomorrow and possibly Wednesday, when a new storm is expected. Rain, that is, not snow. Interviews will be held next week for a teen monitor position, as well as a graphic artist position for the program and publicity department, each at 15 hours per week. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Carol. That was wonderful. Questions from the board? Chair recognizes Gail Crockett. Gail, I think you're still on mute.
Sorry. It automatically moved me. I was wondering if in the newsletter that's coming out, the names of the mayor's teen advisory group would be listed.
This is Carol Waxman, Interim Library Director. Gail, are you asking for the names of the students in the Mayor's Youth Council?
Yes, in the newsletter. Are they going to be in the newsletter? That
Yes.
information?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
you will see that. Absolutely.
Eileen, although we can't see you raise your hand, do you have any questions?
No, I'm fine, thanks. It's very comprehensive.
Natalia, any questions from you?
Thank you. That was a great update, Carol.
Thank you.
Exciting things going on. It's great. Well, that is our last agenda item for the meeting. Our next meeting is November 22nd. And at this moment, I'll make a call for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a motion? Eileen, if you, Chair recognizes Gail Crockett.
Gail Crockett, Library Board member, move to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you. And do we have a second? Chair recognizes
Second,
Natalie Menjivar.
Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member, second.
Thank you. A motion is made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. And I'll quickly call the roll. Gail Crockett,
Approve.
Eileen Daly,
Eileen Daly, Library Board Member, approved.
Natalia Menjivar,
Natalia Menjivar, Library Board Member, approve.
Jill Spear, Library Board Chair, approved. The meeting is adjourned.
All right, everyone, hope you have a good month. If we don't see each other before then.
Bye. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Stay dry.